This is Jim Minion from Two Loose Screws. I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Do it live. Okay. Well, do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
And welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important in the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening on the show this evening. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, a guy who is a longtime sponsor of the show. He is a longtime entrepreneur in the live fire business, specifically rubs, sauces, and other things within that sector. Highly successful. Happy to have him back after a 4-year hiatus. Dan Arnold is here. After Dan, it is the third Tuesday of a month, and 35 past the first hour can mean only one thing: a visit from the creator of CookoutNews.com. Wes Wright is back. And that brings a close to the first hour. Then we will move to the second hour, and tonight's second hour sounds a lot like the second hour from 2 weeks ago, where it was the first Tuesday of a month, and in that second hour can only mean one thing as well: a visit from our pal Sam, the cooking guy. And I've got no indication from Sam that he will be stuck in traffic yet again. That's good news. And also, coming out of the bullpen tonight, 35 past the second hour, a favorite of ours after his debut episode a handful of months ago, Ali Khan from Ali Khan Eats, is closing it out. So, big show planned for you this evening. Dan Arnold, Wes Wright, first hour, Sam TCG, and Ali Khan, second hour. Don't forget, you can follow me socially on the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikToks, the Snapchats, and the LinkedIns, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. And, of course, we say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We do have a new YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. Are you watching Pitmasters on the Food Network? And currently 50% of you are saying yes, and 50% of you are saying no. Oh, I love it. Right off the bat, we're at a 50-50 split right down the middle. I have watched some Pitmasters on the Food Network. Missed yesterday because we were at the Guardians game, watching not 1, not 4, not 6, but 7 home runs by the Guardians in one game. A team franchise record. How about that? So I missed it, and I forgot all about it today, and I didn't watch it on the replay, but I'll get to it at some point this week. And now, quickly, it has gone to 56% no. And we'll start here this evening. Gang, I've mentioned it a small handful of times here recently, which is what? I'm interested. I've been watching videos about new aged hair pieces, rugs, if you will, wigs, also known as toupees. All of those words conjure up the worst stereotypes possible. But as somebody who has struggled with hair for the better part of his life, I'm open to I'm open to hearing about all the different opportunities that are currently out there. Well, I had never really thought about a toupee of any kind. Lo and behold, maybe a year ago, I run across an Instagram account called Toupee Queen, and she changed my whole outlook on the whole thing. And people say, well, if you're going to do that, why not look at getting a hair transplant? And I've never been a fan of hair transplant, especially after I heard about my favorite comedian, Sebastian Maniscalco, talk about hair transplanting. And then over the weekend, while we were at the winery celebrating Marley's 21st birthday, we say belated happy birthdays to Marley, Bobby sent me a 2-part video that I wanted to share with you. This is a guy, I have no idea who this guy is, of course, but he has just gotten a real live hair transplant, and you got to see it. Please join me in watching this. This is part 1.
This is day 4 after my hair transplant. Obviously, I'm swelling. I just look like really up. But it's looking pretty good. Got a little bruising. I feel like when I look to the sides, I can like see the chunk. I can. Yeah, it's coming down. I'm really tired. I feel like I was just excited over the last couple days.
Keep in mind, this is over the course of one day that you're about to see.
And like that's why I like had the energy to like be running around. But today I feel like it's like kind of catching up to me. I look insane. I look like in some Squidward. I look like I got stung. Like what? Okay, I know I just said I feel like I've been doing too much and maybe that's why like I'm like swollen, but I just need to get out of the house really quick. So we're gonna go to the thrift store just super quickly. Is it looking black? Like my under eye?
Yeah, a little bit.
So,
totally.
Smash or pass, me. Okay, so I just saw a new perspective of myself,
God.
which is
God.
the back camera, and I think it's time for us to go home. I think the black eyes are officially here. Oh, hi! Oh my god, what the fuck? Gotta water it.
Watering his
La
head.
Roche-Posay. Shout out her.
Look at his eyes. They're getting worse by the second.
Who you calling Pinhead? Really bad, It's crazy.
Now he's visiting friends' homes. The people are laughing at him for the audio podcast. Look at these two. They're out of here. Just laughing at his face.
Yeah.
But wait. Look, it's getting worse.
Jesus Christ.
It's getting worse.
I literally can't see. Yeah. No, I can't.
Wait,
I have to watch the TV like this because I can't see. So I was laying in Brett's lap like this. But I can't see anything.
So I have obviously gotten significantly worse throughout the day. This is day 4. Come back tomorrow and hopefully everything here will be lower or just gone. This is not me. You're kidding. Is it kind of this way? Wait.
All right, forget it. So that's day 4. Here's day 5.
Oh, good morning. No. No, good morning to you. I got a hair transplant 5 days ago. Hello?
hello.
Mama, what?
I mean, look at his eyes. The swelling has settled all in the bags of his eyes.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
I cannot see. I'm legally blind. I'm so bruised. Like, what the fuck is going on? It looks like I got a fucking full facelift. I didn't. By the way, the swelling started up here. It worked down. Yesterday, I just like had these puffs, and now I cannot.
Hello.
What the?
I mean, this is exactly the reason I'm not getting a hair transplant. I couldn't walk around for one day like that. I mean, look at that guy's face. He's blown up like he went 3 rounds with Tyson with both of his hands tied behind his back. It was crazy. That's why the toupee side of things makes way more sense to me more than ever now after watching that guy. By the way, I don't know how hair transplants work, but the top of his head looks kind of jacked up too. And by kind of jacked up, I mean really jacked up. Stepping aside from that, I do want to wish my mom happy birthday. Stay tuned, top of the second hour. I say that to all of you and my mom as well for a special birthday look back at some current pictures of my parents and old-timey pictures of my parents. You're not going to want to miss it in the second hour. All right, Dan Arnold is in the green room. We'll get to him here in just 1 second. And before we talk about Suckle Busters, talk about our pals over at Primo Cookers. That's right. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for the traditional barbecue meats. We love that you can get rip-roaring hot for high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking, very important to both professional and backyard cooks. The best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker, not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo and their game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire, also giving you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. When you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to cook on this Primo. So you're only limited by your culinary imagination. Sold through dealers only, so go to primogrill.com, primogrill.com, find a dealer locator, visit those ovals in person, and then do what I say. Buy the XL. Don't buy smaller than that. You'll have grill buyer's remorse. We're trying to prevent it. And if you really don't want to have buyer's remorse, do the Primo Double XL. But definitely the XL. Listen to me, I'm a pro. I cook on it all the time. It's the second version of the Summer of Primo here in Cleveland. Primogrill.com. Find them on Facebook and Instagram. Dan Arnold is next.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Dennis Busso in the instant chat saying, happy birthday, Connie. Dennis, it's Mrs. Rempe. Don't be insolent. It's my mom. Mrs. Rempe. Leading off the show tonight, someone who has been very successful in the rubs, seasoning, sauce industry. Doing it a long time now. Not only has he been in business a long time, but there was a point during this show's life where he was also a long-time show sponsor of the Barbecue Central Show. You ever heard of Suckle Busters? If you're a fan of this show, you most certainly have, last appearing back in 2022. And I am happy to welcome back our pal and the creator of the Suckle Busters brand, Dan Arnold, joining us. Hey, Dan.
2022?
2022.
Wow. How many years is that in dog years?
It is like 28 years in dog years, 4 years in real life. So, I mean, it's just as long, if you ask me. Too long, to be honest. So, before we get going tonight, let me ask you the YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. Are you watching Pitmasters on the Food Network, yes or no?
Not yet.
Not yet. So you plan to?
Yeah.
You're just being nice?
I'm not a big TV guy any longer, but Pitmasters, yes.
Yes, all right. So we are 50-50 split right down the middle. Half of the people are diligently watching, and the other half are diligently not watching Pitmasters, at least at this time. And I am currently siding with the 50% that are currently watching. Although, as I had mentioned in the open, I missed last night, as you know, because of the Guardians game that ended up being home run derby for the Guardians. 7 home runs hit last night. Never seen so many home runs hit in one evening in my life, so an added bonus. And for the folks that might be new listeners to the show or just bopping in on a live stream, somehow they got alerted that this show was on some Facebook or YouTube platform. I don't want to just assume everybody knows the eminence of Dan Arnold and Sucklebusters. So can you do a quick rollback in like why you even bothered getting into the rub and sauce business, and when was that initially?
Yeah, thanks. It's been about 20 years since we've been doing this. It was one of those things, you know, a lot of us have a dream. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know, I lost my mind one day and put it in a bottle and thought I could just sell a lot of it. And I didn't initially. So I just kept trying. And I just grew up with barbecue. It was a little bit different for me. I'm a little older than some, but when I grew up, that's what we ate, you know. When I was a kid, I always loved barbecue and I always loved making my own. I always had my own recipes. And so just putting it in a bottle seemed natural. And 20 years ago, 2006, I sat right here in this office and bottled it, put labels on it, and made my friends buy a bottle. And just started just like that. And here we are 20 years later, and we're, you know, nationwide, 15 different countries, and it's a full-time gig for sure.
The old refrain from back in the old forum days, as you remember, is we'd be bopping back and forth with who knows who, saying, hey, I make my own sauce. Hey, I make my own sauce. Maybe you send some samples out to the guys on the forum. Inevitably, everybody's like, oh, this is the best sauce ever. You have to go into business. Likewise, you throw a family party. Everybody's telling you how great your homemade sauce is. You should bottle this thing and getting on the store shelves. Was it a big financial risk initially for you to do this, or were you like, hey, I am interested in seeing if this is something that can get a foothold in the market?
Yeah, no, the barrier to entry in the rub market is very low. You know, you can literally just mix it up in your kitchen, you can bottle it and sell it. So to get started, very easy. You know, next step, you take it to a store, see if they'll put it on a shelf, then you just keep building from there. I had a full-time job for, 10 or 12 years before I went into barbecue full-time. And so it was never really a financial risk for me. It was all just upside. Just keep the thing going. Just keep it going, keep it going.
A lot of folks back in those aforementioned days thought that you could get a brand going. You were going to find success solely on the internet through banner ads and, you know, this, that, and the other thing, word of mouth. Is the rub and sauce game one physically in brick and mortar, and then online sales is more cream on the coffee, as they say in Holland?
Well, I didn't win and get rich on the internet, so that wasn't the way it worked for me. But, you know, really, honestly, our brand is one that we built over time, slowly. It's, you know, it's always been moving up and to the right. But getting on the internet, and remember the old internet ad where the guys, they launched a new website and then they're looking at the screen and they're watching the counter go up and then they're like, yeah. Oh. That never happened. So, yeah, but the internet is very, very important in a lot of different ways. Not only just, sales. Sales are really important, but no more than, it's not a large portion of our overall revenue. But the internet is, wow, it's a major opportunity because you have these huge social media platforms these days that are all commerce oriented. Amazon didn't really, work for barbecue back in the day, and it's the biggest, one of the biggest revenue opportunities in the world for any brand. And so things have changed.
If we were talking tonight and it was Dan Arnold looking to get into the sauce and rub game, would this be a different conversation?
Well, I don't know. You have to have a goal in mind, and my goal was to build a brand. And so that's what I did. And if you wanted to get in today, jump in. And my advice to somebody just getting started, if you have very little experience in it, just make your first goal to have fun and enjoy it. Make a great product, not a good product, but a great product, and get ready to work hard. But most of all, make sure it's fun. Have a good time. The money will come if it's intended to come. But I wouldn't get in with the idea that I'm going to get filthy rich right off the bat. It's tough. A lot of competition these days.
I was going to say, it seems like the biggest negative for me to want to jump into it would be, 20 years ago, not nearly the amount of opportunity and competition and distraction and noise in the market as there is today. Plus, you got to battle with guys like Malcolm Reed, Jess Pryles, Matt Pittman, Cosmos Q, Heath Riles, 3-4 real big juggernaut industries in this thing. So you got to somehow find a way to differentiate from them and then stand out from all the average shit that's on the store shelves. So I would have much rather have gotten into it 20 years ago versus trying to jump into it today. It just seems like it would be harder to stand out, even if it's great.
It is, but there are opportunities for people, who are diligent, and they really want to do it. And so the thing about it is social media levels the playing field to a certain degree in terms of marketing. The other thing I would say that's a major difference today, Greg, versus 20 years ago is barbecue is huge. 20 years ago, when I walked in and looked at a store that I wanted to be in, there maybe were 2 or 3 rubs on the shelf. Now they have just shelf after shelf after shelf. So the industry has grown, and when COVID hit, it just exploded. And so, people stayed home, cooked out. Our industry is very healthy. There's a lot of room in here for people who want to get in and slug it out. It's not going to be easy, but the opportunity is there if you want to get in here and give it a go.
When you look back over the 20-year career that Sucklebusters is currently enjoying, what are some of the major benchmarks or major wins that have helped you continue, as you said, grow up and to the right?
Yeah, that's a good one. Just to back it up just a little bit, so we introduced our first shrub is called Texas Gold Dust. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, of course.
It had a lot of cumin and a lot of chili powder in it, and about half the people just hated it.
I loved it. Those are two of my favorite things.
It didn't really take off the way I thought it would. So lesson learned, I had to bring out a couple more rubs, right? So yeah, so bringing out and having a line of rubs helped us get established into retailers. The first major jump for us was our barbecue sauce. I spent about a year working on the recipe. I love the sauce, okay? I've always loved the sauce. I love that flavor profile, and I built it for me because that's what I like. We put the sauce out. In the first year, I sent it up to the American Royal Barbecue Sauce Contest, won first place. You could have knocked me out of the chair with a feather. I had no idea that our sauce was going to do so well. So that was fantastic. That was just a huge, hey, maybe we can do something here. We can compete. A Texas guy going up to Kansas City and doing well was really kind of unheard of. So that was a big one. There's been a lot along the way. We've had a lot of what happened was when I started going full time into the barbecue business, we had landed our first major retailer, and they had placed their first big order with us, which is more revenue in one order than I'd ever received in a full year.
Wow.
And so that was a major win for us, just getting our foot into a multi-chain store retailer. And so that was huge.
Are you in?
There's just steps business.
Are you in bigger retailers than that initial one too then at this point?
Yeah. So the first major one we got in was we were in Ace Hardware and a lot of smaller locations, but not nationwide. The first one we went into was Rule King, and it really kind of helped us launch. Today, we're in bigger retailers. We just launched this year into Kroger. They're the number 2 grocery store chain in America, so huge nationwide launch this year into Kroger.
Wow.
We're in Ace Hardware, we're in Shields, we're in Tractor Supply. They have 2,500 stores, so we're in all the major retailers, not quite into Walmart. That's
a goal, to get into Walmart?
We're going to take a look at it. Walmart for us is an opportunity. So, yeah. So we'll take a look at Walmart here next year or the next.
How do you get into Walmart? You just walk into a Walmart and be like, hey, I want to get on a shelf, or what? Easy stuff?
Yeah, you just walk in and hand it to the guy and you're like, hey, you want some of this? And he puts it on the shelf and poof.
Yeah.
They send you a big old check every week. I'll be honest with you. Some of these big retailers, we knocked on their door. H-E-B is a good example. H-E-B is a good Texas store.
Yeah.
We called on those guys for 5 years. Before they put us in. And a lot of these retailers, they're very, very conservative. When they make a mistake, it's big because it's magnified by the number of stores they have. So they don't want to make a mistake. They're very conservative about what they bring in. But now H-E-B is one of our biggest customers. So once you're in, then you can grow the business and expand your footprint. But yeah, you literally just have to call on the buyers and convince them to take a look at your product. And then you have to get in line with the timing of when they do their resets, because they have specific times of the year that they'll make changes. And it may only come up once a year or once every other year. Tractor Supply, they do programs, and so their programs come up every 18 months. So you have to really kind of wait them out a lot of times, even if they do like your products.
Do you have a sales team, or are you the sales guy?
I'm the sales guy. My wife helps me. She does a lot of our sales. And then we have rep groups that rep our brand in different vertical industries like farm and ranch and retail.
They work out pretty well because they have the contacts, or do you have to drive them a little bit?
Both. I've had good luck and bad luck with rep groups.
Yeah.
But we've been very blessed with a couple of rep groups that we have. They're hardworking folks. They're honest folks. They represent our brand very well. And for us, it's worked out.
So one of the other newer portions of the Sucklebusters empire, probably separate company, is Success Seasonings. So for somebody like me, so somebody like me who maybe is entertained getting into the rub business, doesn't have the recipe, or I've been a big fan of Sucklebusters and I want to do the private label thing. When did you come up with that? How long has it been in business, and how do I actively take part if I'm interested?
Yeah, so along the way, we had a lot of our customers and a lot of our friends come to us and they're like, hey, how can you help us? We don't have the resources you have to manufacture, package, and, warehouse and distribute these products. So we just started small, building out brands for other people. Last year, we launched, a couple of years ago, we launched the company called Success Seasonings. And then last year, we incorporated it, pulled it out of Sucklebusters. It's a different corporation. It's standalone. It's our growth engine. And in that business, Success Seasonings, we provide private label and co-packing services. So very simple. If, Greg, you want to do a rub, you've got a logo, you can go to successseasonings.com. We have a minimum order of 72 jars. You can place your order online 3 weeks. We got fresh products sitting on your doorstep with your logo on it. We do everything for you. It's really that easy.
And then I could take that first case, go to Heinen's, find the buyer and say, hey, Dave, put this on the shelf and watch the money roll in. And then they tell me when they need to reorder, and then I call you. We just got to like time it out, so the every 3 weeks kind of things, or I make sure I have enough inventory in my garage or some temperature controlled unit to replace the stuff that they need at Heinz.
Yeah, I got a whole warehouse full of it. Just order as much as you like.
How much?
The way we do it.
How much? Where's the margin in it for me if you're making it for me?
If we're making it for you, obviously there's an extra step in there for us, but you still are going to make good money. So, rubs will sell for $10, $12 a jar. And, you can make, a few bucks a jar to get started. If your volumes ramp up, we're going to ramp up with you, right? So, we're going to work with you. If you order 72 jars, it's one price, but if you want to order a pallet, that's a different price.
Yeah.
And the favor goes to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So we want our customers to grow.
Are you actively marketing this business, or is it a lot of word of mouth at this point?
A lot of it's online, but yeah, we do actively market on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, for sure.
And that's just the dry stuff, or will you do sauce?
So the sauces we offer private label. We have hot sauces, which we call pepper sauces. We have 4 flavors of that. We have 3 or 4 flavors of barbecue sauce. And then we have about 14 different rubs ready to roll. Co-pack, we only do the dry stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How much longer are we looking at doing Sucklebusters?
I don't know, Greg. Are you tired? I'm not tired. I think I'd be bored if I didn't have anything to do.
I have no plans of retiring ever, regardless of money or not. I mean, I plan on working till 70, one way or the other. And if I got to stop before then, whether it's forced retirement or a volunteer retirement, I guess I'll reevaluate at that time. But I'm planning on working until 70.
Amen. I think I'll work in some capacity for a long time. And the good news about owning your own business is you can kind of choose your spots, if you know what I mean. So, in the past, it was me. I started off with a company of one, just me. Today, we have a lot more help. So I'm able to focus on the things that I'm really good at, the things I enjoy doing. And, I don't have to, work 80 hours a week these days.
Did you ever entertain bringing on private money or investors? Were you ever approached by people to say, hey, do you want to scale up? Maybe you don't have the funds. We want to invest, we believe.
I've never been attracted to that personally. I just never have. Yeah. I've had people talk to me and, want to be involved at some level or another. And, I just never have been interested in that. I don't want I don't want a partner. My wife is my partner, and she's the best partner, and we do well together. And so that works. We have had, we had somebody take a run at us a few years back and want to buy us out, but we just decided the timing wasn't right for us. Is
that something that could get boomerang back around at some point? Was that like an open, offer? Let us know if you're ever interested.
I'm always open to listening, and so the right deal, the right time, the right situation. Yeah, we'll always listen. Absolutely.
Any new products coming out?
Yeah, we just relaunched new retail size jars, 8-ounce jars. So we have a whole line of those coming out. So our existing rubs we're going to relaunch in a smaller jar and keep the larger jars. So those are new. We're actually redoing all of our packaging on our products. And so you'll see new labels from Sucklebusters starting this year. And then we're also going to repackage our barbecue sauces into bigger jars, squeezable bigger jars.
Ooh, I love
so we're working on all that this year. Yeah.
A guy who has been doing it literally as long as I have, 20 years, both starting in 2006. And here we are 20 years later. It's Dan Arnold from Sucklebusters, sucklebusters.com, the website. If you haven't tried the rubs or the sauces or everything else that he's into, you're missing out, and promise me that you'll do it. Dan, appreciate the catch up here, and I will do my part to not have it be 4 years until we meet again in 2030, but continued success. You're doing great.
Thank you, Greg.
You got it. Dan Arnold. Holy moly. Dan, by the way, so as I started out in the forum business, sounds so weird. That makes me sound old. The forum business. Dan also had a forum as well. I would say competing, but only because he had one, I had one. There was a lot of sharing of members, and I remember when that business was rolling out. I mean, so many. The peach sauce was just, at the time, mind-blowing. I think Dan might have been the first, I'm speaking out of my ass here, but I think he might have been the first guy to have like a honey barbecue rub. It's insane. Way before Meat Church's honey hog thing. Mind-blowing, life-changing, barbecue-changing products. Sucklebusters.com is the place to go. All right. And maybe the Barbecue Central Show rub is in the works and nobody even knows it yet. How about that? I think I could sell 72 jars to Heinen's. I'm local. I'm a celebrity. I mean, they don't know I'm not. All right, Wes Wright is ready to get us up to speed on what's happening in the business of live fire, and he's next.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we thank Dan Arnold for joining us last segment. Sucklebusters.com is the website. This segment proudly sponsored by Fireboard, the innovators behind Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the wireless Fireboard Pulse. Experience total control over all your devices from anywhere in the world with the Fireboard app. It's fireboard.com. Call with questions 816-945-2232. My next guest has created cookoutnews.com, a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer, Wes Wright. Wes, have you ever bought Sucklebusters, rubs, seasonings, or otherwise?
No, I have not.
A legacy brand. Is that what they call it in the biz when you're like 20 years or older? Legacy brand. Yeah. All right, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. What? Are you watching Pitmasters on the Food Network?
I am not.
No. 2 guests in a row with the I am not. Somehow it was 54-46 like 3 seconds ago, but as Wes came on, the tally went back to 50-50 yes and no. I'm in the no, or I'm in the yeses, but Wes is in the no, so keeping the guess right at 100%. Last week, Wes, I don't know if you caught it or not, but I had a hour-long chat with my best pal, Roger Daly, CEO of Weber Blackstone. Thoughts of the interview, things that you didn't know, things that you knew, but maybe shine some additional light on. What were your 2 or 3 takeaways of the interview?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting, and I meant to put it in my newsletter, and I forgot. But so I'll do that this week to let everyone know. We'll double it up. There was a couple of things, but some of them might have been the most boring details to other people. But I'll kind of go in order of your interview from what I remember. Yeah. But he mentioned that they have a factory in Poland, which they were completing like right into all the COVID, like where it all started to turn bad. and they were, really proud of that factory and talked about a lot of investor calls. That was just interesting for me because I was curious, like, did it get finished? Did it get sold? So, hearing that they still build out of it, I don't know. That was just interesting to me because they had like a buy where you build initiative there for a little while, and that was part of supplying Europe. So that was interesting to me.
I had no idea that they had a state-of-the-art facility in Poland. He's like, Poland? I'm like, Poland? That was shocking. Is that known as a manufacturing hub that I'm unaware of?
I don't think so. Not to me. And like I said, they were just building it in like 2020, 2021, something like that. So, you guys talked about influencers and how they interact with influencers, and it sounds like they're not getting paid. Is what I heard from all that.
Here was the most shocking part of all of this. So he mentions that, and then I guess just by sheer happenstance, this past weekend, they hosted all of the grill squad. No, that's a Susie Bullock thing, but all of their griddle crew, which I assume is also inclusive of Weber folks and not just Blackstone folks. So maybe that's part of the, hey, we're not going to pay you, which, by the way, really sunk my hopes of ever bringing on Weber as a paying sponsor of this show. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm as organic as it gets, but so maybe one of these, free grill. Oh, by the way, if we like you enough or you have a allegiant enough audience, we'll fly you out to Utah to the home base and show you around and treat you like $1 million, put you up in hotels, and then fly you back out a couple days later. But I don't know if you saw that on social media, but they had the griddle crew meetup.
Yeah, I saw that. I just assumed that they were getting paid at least. And I don't know. I don't know how influencers are making money if you don't have a product or you're not on YouTube, I guess.
It just didn't seem like he was into paying anybody.
Yeah.
That made you immediately disingenuous.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with him on that. It just was surprising because I'm like, how do these people make it? I know there's enough people that'll take a free grill and, do something with it, but it's just interesting.
To me, and I'm no marketing guy, that's why we have a marketing director at the day job over at Ohio Peterbilt, but I believe I would want to try and find who I consider to be the most genuine mercenary in the live fire industry that has a really big audience, and then figure out what's the least amount that he'll take. Like, if I don't want to pay you whatever the normal amount or whatever the normal take is going to be in that realm, and I have no idea what that is. But, I mean, Weber is a big brand. Blackstone obviously is a big brand. If I have a big audience, to me, I feel like there has to be some financial deal that everybody's going to feel okay with. And more importantly, for Roger to think that, Wes is going to come across most genuine, most organic with the audience, and we're going to pay him that $1 million he wants every year because he's got 3.5 million fervent, engaged audience members. And you can quickly do some auditing on what kind of interaction that your audience has with you. Like, if you have 3 million and when you go live, 10 people show up, you're probably shithead, right? I mean, you buy your followers, you've done some nonsense to some degree, but you have 3 million and 30,000 people show up. That's a good percentage pull off of what your overall is, because you don't know what everybody has going on at any moment of the day. But to me, that would be worthwhile, but it just seems that he's not taking that tact at this point. Maybe that changes down the road.
Yeah, I think you're right that there is, a good middle ground there, and kind of a couple thoughts on that too. The companies that partner with celebrities for grilling products, to me, is like the biggest money waste. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe on my website, anytime I write about it, and like, nobody cares. It's the worst performing articles. I don't think they sell one single extra product.
It almost bankrupted Solo Stove, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that just because you're paying influencers, it doesn't make it disingenuous. And I know, like, me personally, obviously, I get sent a lot of free products. I have advertisers, all that. But And maybe it's a me thing. Other people might not have the same rule, but I don't, if I don't think I'm going to like a grill or I don't like the company, I just don't really work with them, so that way it kind of keeps it more even keeled. And I'm not just, yeah, you sent me a bag of money and I'm going to say this grill is amazing. That's kind of how I deal with it, at least.
Any other thoughts on the interview before we move to the next topic?
One other random thing that's, I'm curious what they plan to do with the Weber restaurants. He mentioned that they had cooking classes there, which I did not know. I think that's kind of neat. And they just opened a new one in like a suburb of Chicago recently. But I'm just curious what like the long-term plan or strategy is there.
Why would it change? Why wouldn't they just run it out as long as it makes financial sense?
Well, I thought they closed some of those, over the past, 5 years or something like that. So it's like running restaurants and running a grill company are like two separate skill sets, I'll say. So, and it's granted, it like feeds into the one and the other with you're doing more branding and advertising. I'm just curious, like what the play is there. Like, and I'm not even saying it's a bad idea. I'm just curious, like, what do they want to do with that?
You ever been in one?
Yeah, I went to one in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And it was decent,
I've been to that one a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I love the Weber kettles, the industrial Weber ranch kettles there underneath the hoods. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff.
It is. It's cool. Yeah.
Should the general consumer be more aware of Bull products?
I mean, I think they make good products, but like the outdoor kitchen grill space is getting pretty crowded. You have the same distribution model where you're going through dealers and you're like fighting over the same square footage, and it's a market that's kind of suffering right now. So, they're good, but I think like once you get to a certain point, some of those grills are kind of indistinguishable between brands.
Yeah, so they've been around for a long time. I remember seeing them at the first HPB Expo that I went to, going on 10 years ago, and I know they've been around well before that. They appear to have good products, as you had mentioned, but I feel like if I stopped 10 people on the street and said, you ever heard of Bull grills or Bull products before, 10 out of 10 people are going to say no, where 9 out of 10 people will have heard of Weber or Blackstone for that matter. And I'm wondering where visibility starts to show up on Bull products.
I see what I almost wonder for Bull products, and I could be way off base. This is just me speculating, is they don't have a brand name that people are like, oh, I got to have a Bull grill, but they've been around long enough that a contractor's building you an outdoor kitchen or whatever. They'll say, oh, I'll get you a gas grill, and whatever familiarity deals, whatever it is. They're like, they work it out. They know Bull, it works well. So they buy them and put it in there, so it's not necessarily like out of preference, but it's one of the, 4 or 5 options available that they know of.
Purdue's grilling survey. You got a great article on there. What were some of the standout portions of that piece for you?
That people are terrified of cooking chicken, and we're all just cooking hamburgers and hot dogs at barbecues. That's what it is.
So I wanted to shit all over that chicken part. And then last week, during that very first episode of Pitmasters on the Food Network, the team that got sent away undercooked chicken. And I did a little bit of a rant on it last week, and I still want to stick to my guns here. No disrespect to Leslie Rourke and her son, and I don't know how TV works and all that stuff, but I think at the end of the day, you got to know how to cook chicken, and whether you got a thermometer or not, especially any pitmaster. But I've seen it time and time again on TV shows that somehow chicken will bite people in the ankles, and it's their downfall, and quickly they're voted off the island or whatever the fuck the rules are. It's continually surprising. So I guess where I feel like I am most comfortable cooking any kind of chicken, and it's never going to bite me in the ass, and it's never going to get undercooked, and it's always going to be great, by the way. the general public is aligning with what I'm seeing on television here. This is a scary protein. Why is it so scary?
I think that people, which is shocking to me, just like the general public doesn't use meat thermometers. I think they're just like, oh, I know how to cook stuff and I'm just going to throw it on there and it's done, and so it could come out of the fridge a little frosty still and it doesn't cook right. And I think that's what it is.
It's
where if
time,
you just have a meat
not temperature, which is exactly the wrong thing to think.
Yeah, but like if you go to a barbecue at someone else's house, I'd never see a meat thermometer come out. So
yeah,
I don't know that I'd want chicken. And if they do have chicken, it is hammered. It is like way overcooked and dry because they're afraid to overcook it and serve it to people.
Do you think in 10 years or so we will have multiple options of cookers that pretty much do everything for the cook? You got to season it. You got to somehow get it on to whatever cooker it is. But after that, it's pretty much done.
Yeah, I think the industry's kind of moving that way. Grill companies keep trying to implement AI technology, and then you've got that sear grills, right? That's a cool device that you just load in your protein into the grill and hit a button and boom, it's cooked perfectly. So I think that kind of technology will keep coming more mainstream, and people will get more used to cooking like that. Was the whole reason that people liked pellet grills when they got hot, is because it was way easier than charcoal. And so I think it'll keep moving that way.
Not to jump back to the Weber talk, but there was a portion of that interview where we talked about the June oven technology getting incorporated. Yeah. He did talk a little bit about how some of it is there, but do you see a full integration across both brands of June technology, or do you think it would be better reserved for the Weber stuff?
I definitely, on the Summit line, where they were one of the first come out with where you could just set a temperature and it would heat to it. So that kind of was adjacent to that. And so on those like higher end Weber grills, I could definitely see that technology. On the Blackstone side, I guess more so on like the pellet grill front, there isn't a ton of tech on the griddle side of the house, in that like regard that I can think of anywhere, because you're cooking high heat for the most part.
Did you get the memo that they started pre-seasoning the griddle plates for the Blackstone side of the company?
No, you texted me and were like, hey, did you know this? And then I sat there and researched it. It took me to show you how little they marketed it. I went on their website and I still couldn't tell. And then I'm looking at griddle plates and I'm like, that one looks a little blacker than the color that they normally are. And I click on it and then you got to expand the details. And this one's with, blackout pre-seasoned griddle. And so, but even then I had to go through and try to figure out, is this one pre-seasoned or not? Because I didn't advertise it.
So beginning of the month, you're doing a story on Conair recalling 1.7 million grill brushes. It's a conversation that we have about this time every year, or let's say from Memorial Day on until Labor Day, when everybody shuts the grills down if you're a grilling season type person. Do you think we get to a point in this country where we finally decide to ban bristled grill brushes?
Either an outright ban because they're afraid, or I forget the guy's name, but I've had a couple of people email me and say, oh, the reason these grill brushes are recalled is because they don't follow. There's a certain standard that you can follow that for wire grill brushes where they don't fall out like that. And I guess they do it in Canada, I want to say, but they don't do it in the US most of the time. But even that feels risky. It seems like every time I see a grill brush recall, and there's been 3 so far, I see a lawsuit posted a week later, a class action suit. So to me, I would just stay away from it if I was a company.
There's just so many better, safer options. And I think the initial knee-jerk reaction is to say, well, I want that bristle one because it's $2 or $4, and I don't want to spend $8 or $20 or $30 like the Grill Fighter grill brushes now. I mean, a year ago when I was talking to Marvin Weinberger about that, I think he was coming in somewhere in the retail of around $79, which was, almost taking me to an unconscious state initially. But then when he sent me one and I used it, I was like, well, this would be easily the last grill brush I ever get. So if I'm 45 today and I spend $80 on it, like it's good for the next 40 years. I'm done buying grill brushes. It works great. It's never going to wear out. It's never going to break. But I don't think the everyday ham and egger that's firing up the grill 3 or 4 or 8 times during the course of the summer is interested in buying an $80 grill brush. So I think that's why we continue to see bristled grill brushes. By the way, Jason King from Canada saying there are no standards to making grill brushes.
Well, I don't know. I've had a couple people in the industry tell me that there are, but so I'll have to agree to disagree on that. But maybe not in Canada. I don't know.
He is Canadian, so we have to take that with a grain of salt.
Okay. He speaks for the country.
And he's an hour east, too, which I don't know anybody that's an hour east. He's like Nova Scotia Canadian. So anything you're working on that we should be ready to check out here soon?
Yeah, I got a couple stories. I'll have an interview piece kind of about the genesis of Spider Grills and how they developed their products. I went down and visited Weatherstrong, watched their whole manufacturing operation. So I'm gonna have something on that soon too.
Do you have a Weatherstrong setup at the house?
Not yet. I'm thinking about it though.
Do you have to go through design consulting, or you just kind of modularly pick out what you want in the space that you have?
I mean, they have a pretty massive operation, so they can support anything. They can do full design, whatever you want, or they have just kitchen islands you can buy off the shelf too.
And then would it be storage, or are you going to put grills in it, have cutouts and stuff?
I thought about it in 2 ways, because they do sell them for garage storage, and my garage is crazy. So I thought about that, but then also, in the backyard with, a grill head and a proper setup, because mine's pretty sad.
This is Wes Wright. You can find him over at cookoutnews.com and see what the latest business of barbecue and grilling is going on over there, and subscribe as well, which we always encourage you to do. You can see him here on the third Tuesday, 35 past the first hour. It is Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer, Wes Wright. Wes, always appreciate the insight, and we'll see you in August.
Thanks, Greg.
You got it. Wes Wright. I mean, it's shocking that Blackstone took advantage of that preseason griddle plate, and still to date, a week later, I don't see any big news releases or anything of the sort that they are doing a preseason griddle plate like the sister brand or brother brand, other brand, whatever, Weber brought to market first. That's a big deal. I would want to start talking about that immediately. I'm doing a promo for Blackstone on their Blackout griddle plate. Is it Blackout? I think that's a big deal. All right, we are going to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
And we thank Wes Wright from cookoutnews.com. Third Tuesday of the month, regular guest. Double Aught Did I do some kind of vMix update and it screwed the comments kick up? Oh man, I've had that button forever. I don't know how to go back in and fix that. That's going to take a while. Used to be able to throw up comments. That's a shame. Double Odd Barbecue, the Blackout griddle plate, one of the coolest inventions this year. I mean, agreed, except for the fact that Weber Slate has had it for a couple years. And now that they are merged, Blackstone being able to take advantage of some of that shared engineering there. So that's not just specific to Blackstone. Weber has had that IP, and now I believe Blackstone is finally getting to share into that. I mean, really, one of the biggest pains in the ass seasoning the griddle, Weber's wiped that out. Now Blackstone has as well. All right, we're pointing to the second hour. Refresh your libations or libations. Listening, watching Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.